My name is Christian Mendoza. My partners are Khalik White, Trevor Weber, and Jaden Richmond. Um, the topic that we are discussing for our social issues report is sexuality and orientation. So, so we may know sexuality is the sexual habits and desires for a person. It's basically what we're aroused to, what we're attracted to in a sense. And so sexual orientation is a person's sexual identity or self-identification, such as there's bisexual, gay, straight, lesbian, pansexual. There's some tons and tons of different ways that people identify themselves with in their own bodies or outside of their body. And gender identity is a person's internal sense of being male, female, or some combination of male and female, or neither male nor female. So you have people saying things like, they could be gender fluid, non-binary, man, woman. So it's different ways. People use pronouns like he, she, they, them, these, or it just depends on personal preferences. So why is sexuality a social issue? Sexuality is a term that surrounds sex, gender identities, roles, sexual orientation, pleasures, and much more. Our views on sexuality are influenced by culture, religious, spiritual beliefs, social ethicalness, and practices. There are a lot of forthright and outspoken people in the world that help turn sexuality into a social issue, causing others to be affected as a whole. So you see, like, the role of a man having to be dominant because he's a male, or the idea that women can't be in the military because they're not considered as strong as the male. There's different topics like that kind of conflict in religion. Some religions don't even allow women to dress the way they want to dress. For some religions are very strict on how a woman can dress, what a woman can say, what a woman can do, and the same thing for a male. There are a lot of there's a lot of homophobia in society. Statistically speaking, on the 2019 Youth Risk Behavior Survey found that 32% of high school students in the U.S. who have self-identified as lesbian, gay, or bisexual have reported being bullied on school property, and 26.6%, which is roughly a little bit over one quarter of the school population, have been cyberbullied, while 17.1% of the straight peers have been bullied on school property and 14.1% have been cyberbullied. So there's a big difference between being identified as something other than the social realm decides as norm. There's a big gap of just because someone identifies as differently than what considered normal is a lot higher than just being a straight person getting bullied. So you can see the conflicting issues there. And according to the American Red Cross, the FDA requires that gay and bisexual men defer for 3 months from the most recent sexual contact a man who has had sex with another man during the past 3 months. The FDA is funding a study to evaluate alternatives to determining donor eligibility, which is it's setting a standard or a law on a man because of the way that he feels, is like just because a man wants to be with another man or a man does something with another man, that he is now being almost discriminated in a way, or having to like wait longer, have to do a different process just because he was a gay or bisexual man. Although there is a lot of social issues with being gay or bi, or having a different self-identity, there's acceptances in society that are kind of turning the corner in a way to make it more acceptable and let people feel more comfortable about being themselves. According to CNN, a total 10.2% of regular characters in the 2019-2020 broadcast television season are reported to be LGBTQ. That is an increase of 8.8% from prior season. So, a lot of people, they're in television, series or movies, you wouldn't typically see that many, it was typically straight people in the television movies and series, but nowadays you're starting to see a lot more, gay people or maybe like lesbians or transgender people. A lot of people are now being normalized in TV shows, and so it's allowing other people to accept it, because what you see in TV, if you see it's acceptable, it makes it more for another person to feel that is acceptable, for them to be open-minded about that as well. And a lot of us from our group can agree to that once we saw a lot of that being on television, we've actually, kind of accepted it more, just because it was looked at from our perspective as, normalized, and so that is why it's been very impactful. There's also a tremendous support system for the LGBTQ plus community through Pride Month and Pride Parade. So Pride Month's a big month for anyone who has, their self-identity is different than straight. A lot of people who, like, even straight people can attend them. I know a lot of people that have attended these. My parents personally have attended this, and I got to go. And as a straight person, I was still accepted there. People come together. They have lots of different stands where you can buy different, like, beads, or you can buy, like, cool little, nicks and all these other cool little things that are supported by the LGBTQ plus community. It's all nonprofit. It's a free event. Obviously, to buy stuff or to get, items that are on, like, the stands, you have to pay, but to be in the parade and to be walking around, it is free. It's held November 20th this year, in a few weeks, in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and it lasts roughly 2 hours. Government, there's sexuality in government. Obergefell versus Hodges, landmark Supreme Court decision 5-4, declaring that same-sex marriage illegal in all 50 states, argued for using equal protection clause and due to process clause of the 14th Amendment. So that was a big step for the LGBTQ plus community. Executive order on preventing and combating discrimination on the basis of gender identity or sexual orientation was January 20th, 2021. So this was literally roughly maybe 8 months ago. So now it is considered illegal to actually discriminate or to be violent towards people because of their identity or sexual orientation. And there's 3 main points of view when it comes to the LGBT plus community. You got members of the LGBT plus community and allies and people who fully support it. You have people who are indifferent. They do not care because it does not involve them. So they're neutral based situation, will not give any input. And then you have people who are against the LGBTQ plus community, and that is usually typically for religious reasons, unfortunately. And here is just a quick look at our sources for our PowerPoint. Thank you.